Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back?
What do you guys want to talk about?
Hello, everyone. Yeah, I'm gonna fuck that one up. Hello, everyone. I'm Mark from Talking Shit, and with me tonight or today, I have Robert, who's filling in for Brian. Robert's from the Broken System podcast, and if you haven't watched it, you should. You can find it on Spotify. I think you can find some of his episodes on YouTube, Facebook. What else are you on?
Pretty much anywhere you can listen or view, I'm there.
Okay. And today we have a special guest. She was I found her originally on the movie Roseblood, and she played Tina. So let's introduce Jessica Hottman. I'm hoping I said that right.
You did say that right. Hello. Very excited to be here.
Yes. And normally we start off with one question, one hard ass question. Okay.
All right.
How are you doing today?
Ooh, that is honestly the toughest question sometimes. It's a mixed bag, but I'm doing great today. I'm so excited to be here and really just excited to keep talking about Roseblood and keeping this film alive. I can't believe it's coming up on almost 2 years since the film was released. So a lot has happened, but this brings me right back.
Yeah. I first found out about Roseblood from, of course, Peter Anthony, the director, the writer, the producer, whatever else you want to call him. He even had a great role in it where he got killed. It was perfect. If anybody hasn't noticed, this is just one of them. I got 2 copies, but shh. Well, are you a big horror fan?
Yeah, so I've really kind of stumbled into this world of horror over time. I was a kid that wasn't really allowed to watch horror films. So my parents were not really about it. They tried to shield me from it, but I would go over to friends' houses and we would sometimes watch horror films. So I was always intrigued, definitely terrified. When I got older, I really started getting into horror more. I'm currently a mild VHS collector. My boyfriend is a huge VHS collector, and it's mainly horror. So we started trekking through a lot of the classics. I'm a big fan of, the 80s and the 90s and all the great practical effects and some of the modern films. I do love a good psychological horror and that sort of a thing. So it's been a slow burn, but I think I'm somewhat arriving now.
What's your favorite out of all the characters? I know that there's a lot of great horror icons.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because my favorite horror film is The Shining. And what's interesting about that is it's not so much a character and you're not really sure even there's controversy on who is evil and what is evil in that film. So I think I like maybe the unknown is the scariest thing to me. I do love, creatures and monsters and all of that. And of course, Jason, I got to say Jason, because Jason is strong and terrifying and ruthless. But I think personally, the unknown and the unseen is maybe some of the most terrifying.
Yeah. My co-host, Brian, says, he says hi.
Hello.
Best way of putting it instead of reading it all out. Okay, well, yeah, that's one thing that I liked about, like Friday the 13th Part 1. You didn't know until the very end, or Norman Bates, or some of the other ones, some of the good ones. the only one that ever scared me was Freddy.
Mm.
But of course, I was like 7 years old, 6 years old, and I was living on a Elm Street.
Oh my
Oh
God.
wow.
Well,
Yeah.
Elm Street.
Yeah.
It's like the
That
Yeah.
would
movie
do it.
for you.
But the funny part is I have not watched. I had not watched that movie for. I'm not going to say my. Yeah, I'm going on 46. Um, I have not watched it since I was for about 40 years.
Wow.
And I would watch 4, 5, and 6, but I'd never watch the first one. I just recently watched the first one. I was like, man, what was I afraid of?
It's funny when you go back. I think probably the biggest, scariest movie I can remember from being a kid was American Werewolf in London. And it wasn't that it was scary. It was just I was so little and just watching all of that. It just terrified me. Now when I go and watch it, it's like I was really scared of that. I can't believe I think my dog came up and like touched my back while I was watching that movie. So it just like childhood trauma from that.
Yeah, it's so funny how those memories from being a kid are just so vivid in a certain way. And I mentioned this on another podcast, but I want to keep bringing it up because my first horror film was this movie called Watcher in the Woods, and I didn't find out until later it was actually from Disney. They were trying to put out horror movies. This was way back, I think 1980. The film came out, and it scared me so bad. There was this girl that disappears in the town and no one can find her, and she's reappearing in the mirror and screaming, and
Oh, okay.
yeah, it was really terrifying to me as a kid. But I went back and I think they had some of the movie or all of the movie on YouTube, and I kind of tried to rewatch it. I was like, okay, this is not that scary, but
I
I
like
was a kid.
I like
Yeah.
watching some of the other ones. Like the Entity. I like that movie.
I have not
It,
seen that.
you
Is it
should.
good?
I like it.
Okay.
It just depends on what type of. And you have the best way of putting it. You have an entity or a ghost that is beating you up and raping you anytime it wants. So I mean, you take it for what it is. And Brian, Texas Chainsaw Massacre never ever scared me.
Really? Oh my God. Whew.
Now watching the third one and stuff, it's like and the remakes, or, remakes or whatever, they're not bad. I liked what was it? Oh hell, the last one that they did of it. I can't remember the name of which one it was, but I that one was pretty good.
Mhm.
All in all, Texas Chainsaw. I mean, yeah, you got a real life guy that actually did kill all these people, but not the way that they portrayed them.
I
Yeah.
think that's the biggest part of it for me is that there is some true reality to that. So there are things that are built in, but there is actual truth to it.
That's
Yes,
really
yes. Ed Gein is one that they're going after, and they got some on scene tapes. His going to be released supposedly.
wow. Whew.
My friend Steve Merlo, he's got a film coming out. It's called On Scene.
Oh,
It's got one is Brett Wagner, who played Leatherface, and one I can't remember which one. Damn it! And then you also have Felicity Rose in it. You have
wow.
a bunch of other ones. It's really good. He's got I don't Indigo Go or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's
Cool.
got one of those going out, and he's so close to his goal, to finishing the film.
Amazing. That sounds like something I'm interested in.
He'll be on my he'll be on my show on September 21st.
Very cool.
Maybe with a special guest. I'm not sure yet.
Mm.
Well, let's get into since the main thing I've actually watched you in was Roseblood, but how did you get the role?
Whirlwind experience. So I did not start acting until later in life. I come from more of a music background, touring musician, so playing a lot of different bands, traveled all over doing that. I still play a lot of music, but I think music and acting kind of go hand in hand. It's performance and it's connecting with people through art. So when I moved from I'm originally from Omaha, Nebraska, and I moved out to the East Coast in the general New York City region. I wanted to explore more on the acting side. This was early 2020, right before COVID hit. And then the world shut down. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. But I ended up doing a lot of different, background roles on some of these bigger shows or just stand-in gigs. And I was trying to do auditions on the side and get a feel for that. And having a little bit of luck, but it's kind of like throwing darts at a dartboard sometimes. So all of a sudden I see this role come through, this casting app called Backstage, which many actors use and are familiar with. And it was a featured role, and it was to reprise the character of Tina Shepherd and continue the story from Friday the 13th, Part 7, which I had not seen at the time. And I just clicked on, there was a picture of Lar Park Lincoln for reference. I clicked on the picture, and at the time my hair was dark, but I noticed there was something in her eyes that was similar. We both had these kind of blue, intense eyes. And I just thought, I don't know, I think maybe I could at least try to play this character. And so I submitted an audition, and Peter Anthony got back to me and was like, hey, let's jump on a Zoom meeting. And we did that. And he offered me the role and was like, you're going to have to change your hair, and we need you to fly out in like 2 weeks and have this entire script memorized. And I was like, all right, I'm in. And it was like my first time doing anything at that level. So I just dove into the character of Tina Shepherd. I got an amazing opportunity to talk with Lar before being on set, and that's kind of how it happened.
Yeah, before I started, or before I met Peter, I wasn't a big fan of Part 7. But after listening to his take on it and then rewatching it, it's not the worst one.
Yeah, well, I know the big criticism is the kills getting, cut short and not fully realized. But yeah, I know that there's mixed reviews, and I think it's cool that Peter has a love for Part 7 and really got to bring some life to this story that maybe needed more of an ending or more going on. And I know that Lar, even in her own respect, was super excited and felt like there was more to tell in Tina's story. And so just the passion from the two of them, you're right, it kind of draws you into Part 7 in a new way.
I think the one thing that Part 7 about me that I didn't care for was the telekinesis part. But if you take Part 7 and then you go and jump after Part 7, jump into Roseblood, it clicks a lot better. Especially with Sanaya, with her there. I loved how yours was a Jason, and hers was Michael Myers.
Yeah,
I loved that. I love that he put that in there, and it actually shocked me because when she's killing people or in her mind, bringing Michael back and stuff, and her killing them in the room, you don't realize that, and you're like, wow. But yeah, that's pretty cool.
I didn't realize it until we were actually filming that scene. And then all of a sudden it was such a whirlwind, and I was learning the script, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, that's what's happening here. The knife coming through the door, it all made sense. And like you said, it was a cool touch.
If each of you could replace any character with yourself, who would it be? You mean to play, Brian? You mean to play any genre, or not genre, but any horror franchise? Good question.
I'm like, whoo.
Yeah, me too.
I'm trying to think of, how would you answer that one? Because I've always wanted to be in a Friday the 13th film. I kept telling Peter, I'll do it for free. You can kill me. I don't care. You know, but he says everybody wants to die. So Jason Brooks said the same thing. Everybody wants to die. Nobody wants to live. They just want to be killed by Jason. Okay, fine. I'll change it. I want to be one of the survivors. And if I was, if I'm gonna pick if I want to pick a movie, I want to pick my favorite, and that would be Friday the 13th Part 3. And I would just be in that one because it's one of my favorites.
Yeah. That seems like a great answer. And I never got to be killed by Jason. So maybe I would just jump in somewhere where I could actually be killed, because Tina was one of the few characters that lives at the end of Roseblood. So it would be fun to just be killed by Jason at some point.
I think that would be me. I don't have a face for TV, so I would just want to be killed.
But killed in a cool way, you know?
In a cool, yeah, it would have to be that memorable, wow, that really happened type kill.
See, yeah. Brian has always said he never wants to be, he doesn't want to be a victim. He wants to be the killer.
Oh, interesting. Being the killer would be fun in a different way.
Yes.
Yeah, I always wanted to see a female serial killer like that. It would be interesting to see. But you don't really see a whole lot of them like that.
I know.
I'm gonna say, yeah, there's not really very many as you would think of slasher type movies that are that would be a female lead killer.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, see, to me, I'm not one for the Conjuring universe. I never really cared for that, but you know, my daughters, they love it. So I mean, I guess one of them would be the nun. I mean, she would be a killer, but she's also a spirit too, if I'm not mistaken. Never watched that one.
I know. I'm trying to think of, all I can think of is more real. Like I'm thinking of not in the horror genre, but in the more real life horror, like the character that Charlize Theron plays in the movie Monster, where she is a female serial killer.
Right here in Florida.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
One of her killings was was actually in my county.
Oh my God.
Yep. But I didn't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
I didn't try, I don't pick up what reason why some of these got killed, because, they picked her up for a prostitute. So
yeah,
I'm not that stupid.
Yeah. That movie her performance was incredible.
Yes,
it was. It's a great movie. She played that character better than
Yes, her and Christina Ricci, they both did a great job at that.
Yeah, really great. Just chills the whole time.
So, you were in a band with your sister, or are you still in the band?
Yeah, so I have a couple bands. I have one with my sister, Heather, and we actually have another sister, my sister, Tiffany. We just recorded an EP together, so I have that band. And that's more like sister harmony, very classic, but also kind of still modern sounding. And then I have a solo project that's more synth 80s feeling called Sun Cycles. And yeah, it's more little more upbeat in a certain way. And then my boyfriend and I, we have a really dark cinematic industrial rock type project called Giveth. And we do a lot of film scoring with that project. So in Roseblood, the song that rolls into the credits, which is called, it's a nod to Part 7. The song's called New Blood. And that was written by that band, Giveth. So a little bit of a lot of things.
Interesting. I actually have that song on my Spotify.
Oh, nice.
Which do you prefer, acting or singing?
Oh, that is so tough. It's like choosing children in a way. Singing is my first love. It's something that I've always done or feel like I've always done. And so there's something very special about that. But I've really grown to love acting in a different way. And the way I would describe it is singing is kind of, and performing up on a stage when you're a musical artist, it's like you're trying to be your most vulnerable self. And so you're opening up in that way. With acting, it's similar, but you're playing a character. So you're open so you can channel this other character's personality through you. So it's tough to say, but I like them both for different reasons.
Awesome. So one you get to be you, and one you get to be somebody else putting everything into it. That's awesome. So are you, I see that you've got some writing stuff. Are you doing some writing for some short films?
Yeah, so I've dabbled a little bit in the writing side. I'm currently working on a couple of my own screenplays, which maybe will see the light of day one day. But I've done more on the directing, producing side in the last couple of years. Last fall, I took on directing my first project and kind of stumbled into that as well. I was helping a friend write his script, and we were also kind of the lead actors in the film. And then I ended up just taking on directing it and really going for it. And that film's called Porcelain, and it's about a relationship, a modern relationship, and just the difficulties of being from two different cultures and how those cultures might relate in different ways, might view the world in different ways. And so, yeah, it's a very like socially modern piece that's very important for our world today without going too far down that rabbit hole.
Yep.
And then I also am producing or co-producing with a friend of mine another film that's more of a drama thriller, and it's about an emotional violence in a relationship, and that's sort of personified with snakes in the film. So yeah, I've been taking on some of the behind the scenes as well as acting, and I also did not think that I would love that as much as acting, but there is something that I really love about the pre-production side and getting to look at the monitor and see what's happening on set. So I'm trying to dive more into that.
It's got to be really fulfilling when you see something on paper and then you are able to put it to, your vision and see how it turns out.
Yeah, just seeing something come to life. And even what's cool is, and I know Peter Anthony would feel the same way, when you're an actor and a director, you have the experience of being the actor, and you can kind of use that to direct performances and to, use what you know as an actor to kind of help actors out to get a certain performance. And there's something really fun about that. Like, okay, let's try it this way and think about this. And here's your character's backstory. And then seeing that actor actually bring that to life on a screen is totally a rush.
That's awesome.
Do you have an actress that you would love to work with behind the camera with them?
So many, and the time is ticking. I really love, I've always been a fan of Winona Ryder because she's just dark and moody and cool. And yeah, I would love to work with her. I would love to work with Kate Winslet because I just have such a soft spot for her, and I think she's fantastic. Charlize Theron is another person that I would love to work with. I'm really big into there's just so many female actors that I look up to, and just as people, as powerhouse women in this industry. So those are just a few, but there's many, many more.
Yeah, there's I need to think about it. Yeah, there's a lot of actors and actresses that would be cool to work with. Behind the scenes, in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about doing your own, making your own script and then just going from there?
Yeah, I've started to kind of write some ideas down and flesh out some scripts, and I'm hoping to get some projects together on my own. I love the writing side as well, and I think having experience being on set and seeing other people putting their scripts together has been a great educator. And I have always loved writing. I used to write a lot of short stories and mystery novels and that sort of a thing. So I would love to kind of merge the worlds together. And I think really at this point, I just want to dabble in as much of it as I can when it comes my way. And so sometimes it's acting, sometimes it's directing, sometimes it's writing, or a mix of all of those, because I feel like in the modern film world, many people do a lot of those things to kind of stay afloat.
That's what I was going to ask is how is everything affecting you right now with the strikes going on? I mean, how have you seen that affect you personally, I guess?
Yeah, so I am a member of SAG-AFTRA, so currently on strike. There are still a couple things that are, filming, like SAG micro budget and more independent features that have certain contracts in place. So, it's not at a complete halt, but a lot of my work on these larger sets has halted. But I'm really in support of what's going on. And so while it is super challenging financially at this time, I think that everything that's being asked for is great, especially with, the AI scanning and that sort of a thing. Super scary and pivotal time. And yeah, I'm just excited to be on the side of people saying we're not going to accept that and we're going to ask for more and these basic rights to not be scanned on set, which I did see happening kind of right before the strike happened. Thankfully, not to me, but to people that I know. But yeah, it is certainly an interesting time. And in some ways, it was weird kind of coming from COVID where everything shut down. When I first started in this world of acting, things kind of picked back up again. And now it's like things have shut down. So I'm really hopeful that something great will come out of this. And, maybe that's foolish in a certain way, but I really think that there will hopefully be a push for great storytelling and independent films and, all the good stuff that we love.
And I think that's the most important part of all of that is to one, protecting you guys as your rights as actors and actresses to not sign away everything from from one movie to another or from one spot to another. So
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, before I got into this whole entertainment industry, I just had no idea how much work really goes into creating these films. And I have been on, a full season of a show before and or recently, and the days are 12 to 16 hours, sometimes 5 to 6 days a week for 6 months. It's extremely long, challenging work. It's not just you kind of bop in here and you bop out there. It's very hardworking people that are a team that make this entertainment come to life that people then consume. And so I think just having a healthy system and everybody doing well and getting paid to live and be taken care of is super important.
yep, absolutely.
I agree with that. When you guys were shooting Roseblood, that was during COVID, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was kind of, I think we filmed 2021. It was, not right in the thick of the lockdown, but it was kind of like trailing off of that. And, we had to be super careful on set. It was masks and people were testing and, trying to stay away from each other and doing what we could. But it was definitely still a scary time because, the world was not really sure at this point what was happening and all of that. So yeah, it was definitely a challenge on that end. But, I think that everyone involved tried their absolute best to be careful and to be aware as much as possible, which I think made a difference.
Yeah, I had Sanaya on here spring break. She was at Disney when we did it. That was funny because that's only a 2-hour drive from me, or if that, from where I live. But she was wonderful to have.
Yeah.
How do you keep in contact with her? Or?
Yeah, I wish that we talked more because I feel like every time we do connect, it's awesome. And it's like kind of right back to our time on set, which was so great. I was not expecting that friendship that blossomed with her on set. I just forgot about it. It's like, you're just there and you're like in the script, but her and we just had such a great time. And she was just so lovely, so mature. She is always sweet and thinking about other people. And yeah, I feel like at any moment I could reach out to her and she would be there and chat with me and all of that. So I really love Sanaya and her family. They are just top tier people, best of the best. Their generosity, every single person, the whole entire family, incredible generosity. And I love all of them so much. So I'm looking forward to seeing them all again soon. And she's, off to college, which I'm just like, starting to feel even older than I already do.
What else? I was going through your Instagram before you actually popped on, and are you a wrestling fan?
Am I a wrestling fan?
Yes.
You know what? What prompted that? I'm curious.
619.
Okay, the 619 hat. So I'm a thrifting fan, and I thrifted that hat, and I didn't know about its reference until I wore it, and then everyone's like, wrestling, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Rey Mysterio Jr.
Kind of funny and ironic because I don't really know anything about wrestling, but I did find wrestling fascinating as a kid. I remember seeing it and just thinking everything was so real and being amazed that these people on the screen weren't dead.
Yeah, I went to WrestleMania 3.
Oh,
that's what started my bug. And then I took one of my daughters to WrestleMania 24, and it wasn't until she met boys that she stopped watching with me. So, but there was another reason why I asked about wrestling. It's because we it seems like everybody that I asked to when it comes to horror normally goes hand in hand with wrestling because they intertwine in some ways.
I could see that. Yeah. I could totally see that. And there's a pipeline between those two things.
And also because we lost two wrestlers back to back the past 2 days.
Oh,
Terry Funk, older wrestler. He had a lot of health problems. And then Bray Wyatt. He was wonderful. He wore a mask, and he was very it was the mind control type thing that he liked to play.
Yeah.
But it was about this time that I decided that I was going to pick a guest out and have him on the show.
Oh, wow.
You. And since he's such a great guy, well, we'll introduce him. Let's welcome Peter Anthony.
Oh, to the stage.
I don't know about the great guy part, but thanks for having me on.
Hey,
I was like, what's about to happen? Who are they bringing on?
I mean, to be honest, Peter's been on the show a few times. I love having him on too. He gives me shit, so it's great.
Hey, it's the show. It's the name of the show, right? Talking shit.
Oh yeah.
He gives me shit too, all the time.
I do. I'm actually much nicer to Jessica than most people.
I know this. That's because I'm sensitive, and you know that, and dance around.
This is true. Other people I just yell at, and I'm like, now Jessica, just if you could just put your left hand down,
I can't. I really can't wait to see what he comes up with his next movie, Laughed.
Yeah,
he's just got to get on that.
Do you want to? Can we talk about that, or we can't talk about that?
Yeah,
Jessica?
We can talk about it.
Well, Jessica, the other part.
I don't know. Whatever you want to talk about. I'm following your lead. I was like, I'm going to be really unless you give me the okay.
So Jessica's song on Roseblood was phenomenal. I mean, I'm not just saying it because I'm a glasses half full kind of guy. You could ask Jessica. I'm not I'm a glasses half empty kind of guy, not a glass half full kind of guy. And man, I thought her song for Friday the 13th is up there with the top 3 best songs ever written by any Friday the 13th song. And she just did that off the whim. I mean, I gave her some notes, and then bang, she just nailed it. She doesn't even really know the genre too much.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Have you heard it, Robert?
I have not. I'm going to actually download it now.
Yeah, we can play it here today.
I have it on my Spotify.
Yeah. Is it on YouTube, Jessica? No. Is there anywhere where someone?
I believe it's on YouTube. I believe it's somewhere on YouTube. I'm not sure. It's Spotify, Apple, wherever the distributor sends it out to.
Yeah. What do you got? The dark eyebrows, dark makeup today on the eyes?
I don't know. I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I
The
see
other
it.
side of me.
Sometimes you're really bright, and sometimes you're a little dark. You know,
like no makeup most of the time, and every so often like dark makeup. I'm just like I can't find an in between.
Yeah, it's like goth or like Barbie today. What am I doing?
Yeah, like sunshine.
So sorry to get off subject. So I thought she did such a great job, and every fan and everybody loved that part of the end of the movie there. That I in the movie Laugh, we won't get too much into it, but there is a performance on a stage, and I just couldn't imagine anybody singing a song or doing it better than Jessica. So I asked her if we could collaborate and come up with a song for the movie that basically will be the main song for the track for the movie Laugh, and she's working on it now. And the whole goal is to have her on screen on a stage is actually part of the movie and singing that song as that character. And her character's name is Sapphira. What is it called? Saphira. Sorry.
Yeah, we came up with that recently.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a big thing. I hit her up on it. She was like all happy. I'm like, yeah, I want to have you do a song again. Can you do this, this, and this? And then I know she's gonna nail it because for some weird reason, like our brains work pretty well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the big forehead, big eye thing, and she understands like right away what I want. When other people have to like, I get in arguments with people for like 3 hours. Like, don't you? I wish I could take my brain and like USB it to them.
Yeah.
You're not listening to me. You're not listening to me.
Yeah. But it's hard because what you see is what somebody doesn't see at the same.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you have what you start with Laugh what in November?
Yeah, November. All I'm doing is working on it now. So this is my notes of each scene. There's like 50 pages of how I want each scene to look and how I want it to be done. I'm like halfway writing it now. So it's just, so if you know me, Jessica knows me, like I can't just tell you, okay, the scene is this. I have to explain like 50,000 things, right, Jessica? Of like how it's going to look and why and what the energy level is and what's going to happen. And otherwise it doesn't work to me. It doesn't.
You're just like, there's a beam of light. The wind is blowing in from the right side. And I'm like, I'm feeling this, but I love that because that's a director mindset right there. You're taking us into the scene.
Yeah. And there's a club scene, and I just got with a guy today who does professional drone work for music videos and stuff like that, where this dude can fly this drone like between the bar, between TVs and stuff like that, and whip around a club. So I'm definitely gonna have that in there. What's up, Steven?
So working on Roseblood with her, what was she like?
She's like a sweetheart, dude. Yeah, she's like super. I mean, she comes into this environment with, I'm everybody. Jessica, you answer this. Everybody always says I'm ultra intimidating at first when you meet me. Is that correct?
I mean, yeah, I think that you have that spirit about you.
Yeah. So I don't think I'm like that, but everybody says it. So I'm like, and then
it's the glass half empty part of you. That's it, probably.
That is it. And a lot of people on set I went to school with, played football with, I knew. So I'm very like hard with them. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just the way we are. So I'm sure that other people see that and they're like, whoa, he's crazy over there. But it's also, we were on so much pressure and stress to get so much done. I basically bit off more than I could chew, and we somehow miraculously put it together. But she was phenomenal. Like her coming in that role, she said it before too. Laura Park Lincoln's there, and there she is trying to, not revive, but play a younger version of Laura Park Lincoln in Friday the 13th Part 7, a first-time actor in the middle of Seattle surrounded by strangers. That had to be very scary.
I was so nervous. Like I was really excited, but I just remember sitting in my car beforehand and I was like trying to not shake. And I was just like, oh, it's okay. And then we get to set and I'm like talking with Dr. Sykes, David, and he's helping me relax because he's such a funny guy and was just like keeping my spirit calm. And then all of a sudden we get in the room, we're doing the first scene and Peter's like, Laura's on her way here. She's on her way here. And I'm just like, like
trying. Which we didn't know. She came a day early, remember?
Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. But she is the sweetest person. She gave me a huge hug the minute I saw her, was nothing but supportive and complimentive and just, it was a wonderful experience that could have been really terrifying had there not been such an amazing like family environment on the set, and there was.
Also, too, we never talked about this. I take a flight, but my crossover is Chicago, and Chicago's where Riley lives in Illinois.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, I forgot about this. And then Riley, so I got off my plane, and Riley's jumping on the plane with me to go to Seattle because that's how it usually works halfway through the country. I don't know if we were talking to Jessica or what happened. And she's like, "Yeah, I'm on the same flight. I'm here." So I'm like, "Oh, meet me at the bar," you know. And then I met her, and you could tell she's like kind of like standoff. We did like the church hug, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of like 6 feet of gap in there. And then sat. I'm like, "You want something to drink?" She's like, "No." And then we're like, "Okay." And then we got like on the plane as if almost we didn't know each other again. It was kind of funny. Remember that? And Riley.
I remember that. I was just like, I mean, I think it's always that fear of like, is this real? Is this happening? And I was just like trying to like process. I was super nervous. And then I'm like, okay, this is real. This is happening. Everyone's awesome. And like my walls came down and it was great.
that fear you're going to get there and everybody's going to be like, "Oh, you're not right. Go home."
Oh yeah. I'm like, I pretty much have that dream every night, like different scenarios.
That's my life every day.
Yeah.
Hold on, before we go any further, Brian, I know it's 619, but it was a Rey Mysterio hat. That's why I asked.
Yeah. I'm like, I could probably pull that.
He used to have it under his eyes too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Long ago.
Yeah.
When they demasked him, he did that.
There you
There's
go.
the hat.
I've seen pictures of that hat. Yeah.
Yeah, when I had asked her if she was a wrestling fan, and she goes, "Why do you ask that?" And I said, "The 619 hat, you know, it's Rey Mysterio, you know." Yeah. I know all that shit because, you know, I'm a big wrestling fan. Always have been, always will be.
Do you think that 619 is just a 619 because of Cali, or is that symbolization on the hat his symbols too?
Well, that's what he goes by, you know, but that's where he lives also.
Yeah.
So those went together for him. But when I see 619, I know it is a Cali area code, but I refer to a lot of it as Rey Mysterio.
Yeah. Everybody like what Pitbull, Miami's what 315?
I
Like
305. 305.
305. Yeah, because mine's 352, and Tallahassee's 904. You know, it's halfway through. And then 704 for Orlando. It's just whatever.
781 for St. Pete and Tampa.
Yep.
Yeah, I used to live there.
I know that because I get calls from there all the time.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to tell anybody where I live, so it's just in Florida.
It's a big state.
It's too hot here.
I lived there from 2000 to 2002.
Yeah, I moved here in 1990, and well, I'm still here.
Yeah.
I had to carry an umbrella around the last time I was in Florida just to shield myself from the sun, even with sunscreen on. It was like the UV rays were 13. It doesn't even get that hot here.
I'm white as hell, and I live in Florida. I don't like the sun. It's too damn hot. But yeah, like I said, I got both of them here, and actually, I do keep them out.
Yes,
I keep them out like this, and then I have I do have the thing that you wrote to me when you sent it.
Yep, the card.
Yep. I'm gonna keep that. That's in my treasure box with all the other actors and actresses' autographs that I got. And yours is always going to be more special than most of them.
Thanks, man. I appreciate
it. And Jessica, just for you to know, I know you didn't ask, but Peter has always he was my first guest ever. When I first wanted to start a podcast, I was like, okay, who do I want on here? And I was just noticing what Peter was doing, and I just said, okay, screw it. I want him.
Awesome. That's great. First guest to have.
And look who you've got after that.
You got a shit ton. Yeah. Jason Brooks was a good one. I had, her. Who else was there? I've had a lot from Roseblood, Vengeance, Darcy DeMoss. I had on here. Now, Laura, she's a one of these days I will get her on here. I swear. But I just got confirmation today that I have. I'm going to screw his last name up. I know I am. Ari
Lehman.
Lehman.
Always remember it rhymes with demon,
Okay.
and you can't forget it. Yeah.
Okay. I just got confirmation that he agreed to come on the show. Just not sure of the date yet.
Yep.
We're gonna have a bunch of different people on here, but I'm still not done getting people from Roseblood or Vengeance, or I gotta start getting some from Fall Camp Blood.
Yeah. Get Riley on.
I've been trying.
Yeah, he is busy though, especially now with TCM out. He guy streamed 16 hours the other day.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, how in the hell do you do it that long? I can play it for so long. I just have certain people like Steven yelling in my ear how to play the damn game.
You don't play video games, do you, Jessica?
Do I watch video games?
Play.
I have an N64 sitting on the table in front of me right now.
What do you got? Do you got GoldenEye?
GoldenEye does exist in this house.
Mario Kart?
Mario Kart.
Yes.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 is in right now. We've got some Super Mario Bros. It's a very small but nice collection. Yeah. But that's about the extent of my gaming, is like from the 90s and early 2000s. I'm like, I ended at GameCube. So
yeah. GameCube.
I got back into gaming when Friday the 13th came out.
The game.
Yep.
Yeah, that game was the shit.
I loved it, and there's a lot of people that give it shit, but I loved it. You know that we can play Texas Chainsaw Massacre together.
You're on PS5?
No,
Xbox.
There's a code. Yeah, Xbox.
Yeah,
there's
you
a
send
code.
the code. Yeah.
Yep, and we can play together.
Yeah, there's already hackers on there from the computer.
Oh, of course.
Yep.
I enjoy it, the 3-on-4. The only problem, the night maps kill me, and the basement.
Yeah. I have all the maps with all the locations of everything if you want it. I have every valve, every fuse box, every blood, everything in every map.
Wow.
Because I don't fuck around, Mark.
I know that.
I'm here to win. Okay.
So, Jessica, what's next for you?
Great.
Well, besides laugh.
I was going to say laugh. That's a really big thing. That's next. Yeah, like I mentioned, I am currently co-producing and acting in a film called Within, and it is a film with live snakes involved. So I get to interact with some live snakes, which is new for me. And that'll be shooting this fall, directed by Alexis Hartman. So super excited about that. And I'm actually headed up to Boston in a couple of weeks to, interestingly, portray an AI character. I'm playing a robot woman in a short film. So that'll be kind of cool and something different. And that film is called Anna and Esther. And that's what's in the works on the film end right now. And then, of course, working on a lot of music. I've got an album and a couple EPs coming out next year. So just staying creative and doing a lot of things that come my way.
So until the strike's over, you're sort of, limited on what you can do.
Yeah, definitely limited, but still, coming up with projects and that sort of thing, working with people that are doing things, still the SAG route, but you can, go more of the independent way through that right now, which is cool because it allows you to still do some things. But yeah, hanging on to see what the future holds with the strike.
Oh, that's cool. And Peter, she did tell us one thing. She said that in Roseblood, she didn't get killed. So she said, make a little part for her to get killed.
Listen, we've lost so much money of making these fan films. If somebody wants to give me the money for Roseblood too, I said I'll do it. But yeah, I mean, if we shot you the numbers of how many hundreds of thousands of dollars me and Sean and Jason have lost in this, it would blow your mind. But we needed it to get better. But yeah,
right.
I want to have money for once instead of losing money.
It's all that's the cup half full part of you.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember when you were doing Roseblood, you said that you went into debt.
Oh, debt isn't. Yeah, debt. Yeah.
You said you maxed out everything. I remember you
so
telling me that.
80 grand just Roseblood is 80 grand of my own money. Now that's on top of the Indiegogo, and then another 16 grand I spent on the premiere, which was pretty awesome.
It was awesome.
I seen
Yeah.
I seen the pictures of
Jessica still, and then I had it after hours after the premiere, which Jessica and her boyfriend loved the food there.
The food was great.
Yeah.
Love the food.
Yeah.
Ken and Billy says, hello, Tina in the general.
Hello.
You know, that's Ken Slate. He played Stryker. Yeah.
Ken Slate.
And that's the name. So when we did the raffle for, sorry to cut you off, Vengeance 1, I played Ken Slate, the prisoner in the orange jumpsuit. It was Ken Slate who won the raffle for me to be his name.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even know at that time. I didn't know much about that part, but yeah, that's pretty cool.
Dude. He's good dude. And his wife was on set, Jessica, when they had the lunch with Lar.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, it's crazy just how many things happen in that short span of time. It's like all of a sudden I'll remember something like Ken's wife being on set. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember having a conversation with her, and just there was so much rolled into a small amount of time.
Yeah. It was good. Oh, Ken's the best. Ken says that because I say it, but no, he's really a good dude. Yeah. He's so giving and such a good guy all the time. I went to where did we go to? Ken Horror Fest or Horror Scare Fest in Kentucky. He was there. I saw him again. He's a good dude. And his wife, we did the raffle for Eat Lunch with Lar, and everybody put in for the raffle, and his wife won. What are the odds? And he's going to the set to shoot anyways.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That makes it work. That works out.
Yeah.
Brian, what the hell are you talking about? 305. Oh, that's
Miami.
okay. Yeah. Brian had, he's been really busy. He's working the finance department at his work right now, so he had to take today off. He said,
"Hey, you want to see a world premiere of the Laugh poster?"
Sure.
It just got done. Like it just got sent to me. So it'd be hard to see, but
oh my gosh.
That's Todd Jenkins as the clown, and that's Terry Kaiser.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Good.
Very cool.
That is
I like that.
Cool, right? No one's seen that. It just this email just got sent to me.
Terrifyingly good.
Yeah. That, by the way, Jessica, so people don't know, Tommy Lee Driver played Colonel, oh my God, Chase in Roseblood. The original, I fired 5 actors with 5 days to go because people got attitudes, and I said, get out of here. Yeah. So Tommy Lee Driver took over for Colonel Chase. Tommy Lee Driver's like a tank. The guy's like built like this, and the guy was like 180 that I'd made the suit for, so he couldn't fit in the Colonel suit. Had to put him in regular Army stuff. And Joe Wilson, who was a real guy in the Army, knew what to do with pins and stuff. But anyways, I have that suit. Well, I sent that to Terry Kaiser. We had it tailored. He put it on for photos, and he'll be wearing that. He plays a colonel in the movie.
Amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
You must really like working with Terry.
It's more like we like working with Terry, right?
Well,
he's such a cool guy. Besides being a crazy chain smoker, the guy's outside just ripping down cigarettes like a champion. Yeah, right, Jess?
Yeah, and all right. There's certain people they've got the genes to do that. So
I seen where one guy got a picture of or a tattoo of Terry, and then Terry signed it, and the guy got that tattooed also.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, some of these conventions, if what is it? There's tattoo people there. If you get, like Kane will say, if you get me, I'll tattoo. I'll write it on it, and you can tattoo my name on free.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So it's like a deal with whoever's there with the tattoo people.
It's pretty rocking.
Yeah.
Pretty rocking. Actually, fun fact: Terry Kaiser. So I'm from Omaha, Nebraska. Terry Kaiser spent, I think he lived there in high school or was somewhat raised in the Omaha, Nebraska area. So when I met him on set, I went up to him and I had read in his bio, I'm like, did you live in Omaha? He's like, I did live in Omaha. And so we got to chat about that for a while, which is pretty cool because now living out on the East Coast, everyone's like, Omaha, Nebraska, what is that? Where is that? Does that exist? So it was nice. We had that little moment.
He told me, believe this or not, Mark and Robert and Jessica, he was so good at football. I played strong safety, and so did he. He played corner, and I had a big deal too before I got hurt, and he actually got a full ride. I forgot where, not Nebraska, but somewhere else. And then he said he played like the first week or so, and then he left and he quit and he drove all the way to New York and went to the what is it? Not Juilliard. What's the other acting school in New York, Jessica? The whatever studio, the actor studio.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's called the actor studio, I think, whatever, with the Russian guy, the famous Russian guy.
Okay.
Yeah. So he said he left. I said, well, why'd you leave football? Right. So let me try to do my best Terry impersonation. Right. So he's like, well, Peter, they had me tackling big bastards like you, and look at me. So I just had enough of that and went to New York. That was great.
It took him a week to realize.
Yeah, because he's little.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't think football when you see him, but I can see him feisty. He's got a feist to him.
Yeah, he does. David McMahon loved him. Terry was on the Golden Girls, I guess, a couple of times, and David McMahon, who's Dr. Sykes in the film, showed up with a Golden Girls shirt on. Remember, Jessica?
I remember that.
Yeah, and went up to him and he's like, "I love you from Golden, not from Weekend at Bernie's."
Yeah, it's like
Golden Girls.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
And Kevin was good and everything. I told Kevin, I go, "You're the prettiest person on set, guy or girl." He's like, "Oh, thank you, Peter." Truth. Yeah, truth.
Now, is there anybody that Peter? Is there anybody that you want to work with that you haven't yet?
There's 3 people that I'm in negotiations with for Laugh that are big names, but it's the strike. And A, I don't have them yet because of the strike. So B, I don't want to announce it. But there's some that I've always wanted to work with that hopefully come on board as it goes. I mean, if it gets to a point where it's too long, I'm gonna have to just go a different direction, but we'll see.
I'm figuring one of them, and I can say it because I just figured this would have been one, is Kane Hodder.
You'd be correct.
I think that would be probably one of your number one.
Well, I've asked him to be in every single film I've been in, and he's always like, "I can't do it, Petey. You're not SAG." And I'm like, okay. So this one's trying to be SAG. I feel like we're waiting now because I'm not going to wait 2 years, So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, most of the time when the strike goes on, it doesn't go on very long. But I don't.
But this is such a big issue with AI and all that. That's streaming. It's so many things that have never been around before.
Right.
It's so complex. I don't know that there's not an easy out for it.
Yeah. It's not like before where it's basically revenue sharing, right? Okay, we want this much, we want that much, and you have a little battle. Now it's like forever. Once you make this decision, this is going to be forever. So it's big.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like AI for the writing, for not like for writing scripts or anything. That's how I write my Facebooks and stuff now. It makes me feel smarter.
That's the problem in college. They show these college professors where they say 70% of their classes are writing papers with ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
They're not even doing. How do you stop that? It's tough.
You can, and it's only going to get worse. I mean, because once it writes it, you just tell it to. That doesn't sound like me. Dumb it down, and it dumbs it down.
Or you could even go in and mess with it.
Yeah.
I don't think AI can do what some of the stuff that a normal person can do. It can't show love. It can't show, when you're sad. I mean, it can tell you, but it's not going to be able to show you what it is.
But it can infer it. It can infer it in writing.
Yeah. The film that I'm shooting in a couple weeks, it's all about that. It's about AI and like, is it getting feelings? Is it inferring? Is it, because that is sort of, this weird territory that it's somewhat unexplored, like how much it can mimic and learn and all of that. But it certainly is such a strange time. And even on the music end, this is a really hot button issue. I have my old roommate, he works for Universal Music Group. It's a big record label. And, a big part of his job now is just going and seeking out people utilizing artists on their label, utilizing their voice to create works of art and trying to shut that down. And it feels like it's spiraling in a certain way, and it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
There's two. I said, go ahead.
You go.
Oh, there's 2 things I saw. Everyone on the panel that'll blow your mind. That'll scare the shit out of you. There was a guy on stage, and he's talking about the AI and how it's too late. That you didn't stop it, and now it's too late. And he gave 2 references. He's sitting in a crowd with business people. And he looks at a guy and he goes, what business do you own? The guy says, whatever. What platform are you on? I'm on here. What software do you run off your servers? He goes, this. The guy turns around on stage and goes, computer, write me a bug program to infiltrate the software on blank, 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 blank with this site. And bang, the whole code came up in 5 seconds that he could infiltrate this guy's entire website.
Yep.
I was like, holy shit. Then there was another one where it has a thing, you get automated calls, and it would automated call like your kid, right? And then the kid would say, hello, and they're like, hello, who is this? This is Timmy, and all you need is 5 words. Now they have Timmy's voice. They take Timmy's voice and they call you and they say, Mom, I'm at school. I lost my social security number. Can you tell me what it is we need it for this class? And you give it to them. And all that is done by a computer. There was another program, sorry to go on a tangent, where they told the computer to build a bridge, a more efficient, stronger bridge than someone else. Make the best bridge you can. This computer became AI aware or whatever, and actually created a company, grabbed money from different funds, and started hiring real people and real worker and got real permits and started sending people to build a bridge somewhere that wasn't even a real job.
Wow.
Scary, dude.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, just even using it, because I'll use it to write the descriptions of my podcast.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing now.
And each time I go into it, it remembers what I did before, and it'll tell me, oh, you did this or you did this, and it updates it. And I don't, when I first started doing it, I'd have to put in my name, the podcast name. Now it just does all that for me. All I do is say, this is what I'm talking about this episode. And it writes the description for me. It's like, okay, then I have to say it, dumb it down because I'm not that smart. Make it sound more like me, and it'll change it. So it's crazy.
Should use that for people like getting fights with their girlfriends and like make an apology letter.
Yes.
There you go.
Me.
I mean, I use it, and it has all these emojis and stuff like that in it, and I'm like, man, I don't even use those, but what the hell? I mean, why not?
Yeah.
But yeah, it just makes me, I mess up a lot when I'm talking or writing and stuff. I'll mess it up, and then I'm like, don't sound right. So when I found the AI program, I'm like, okay, I'll use this, and it helps me out a little bit. It teaches me how to actually write better.
I mean, the challenge for you guys is really that I don't know how they can address it to how it's going to affect you. Okay, so you can see what it's doing right now, but how is it going to affect your jobs or the things that you do in 3 years?
Especially writers.
Right. Yeah. I mean, at some point in time, it's going to be just, hey, write me a script about this, and it's going to do it. And it's going to check and make sure that there's no copyrights. There's no, so it's going to write original content. How can you battle that 5 years down the road when it's only going to get, I guess more intelligent?
The other thing too is, let's just say the United States put some kind of cap on it. No one else is gonna. China's not gonna. Russia's not gonna. So, and that includes everything, whether it's war, whether it's business. These people are having ChatGPT figure out business models for the stock market. So, like, it's everywhere now. And if everyone's doing it, how are you not going to do it? So that's going to be tough too.
Yep.
Yeah. I saw an insurance company guy say, we have AI for insurance where it tells us how much money we can pay less out to these people in accidents than we should. So, okay, I got $1 million policy. Okay, well, we'll string them along for a year. John Doe, 47, blank, blank, blank. The odds are he'll take a $500,000 settlement, and they save money, and they're using that software.
Yep.
It's crazy.
It's like figuring out the percentage of things happening for this time.
I think everybody should have listened to James Cameron.
Terminator?
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all boiling down. Everything's going to be computerized. Well, pretty much is, anyways.
People on TV won't be real people on TV.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the next Fast and the Furious, they're putting Paul Walker back in it.
Yeah, I heard.
I just found that out. I'm like, what the hell?
Bro, there's dudes dating robots right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like $10,000 for a girlfriend. What?
I couldn't trust a robot that much.
They do more than hang out with them too. I mean, that's insane. Yeah, it's so crazy.
And then I found out, Scream. The next Scream is going to be done in London.
That's cool.
instead of New York or going back to Woodsboro, they're going to London.
Well, the New York works so well, so
Yeah,
you know.
I think that they turned that. I know some people don't like how it was, but I actually liked it.
I
since
loved it. I thought it was one of the best ones besides one. Did you watch
Yeah.
it, Jess?
I did watch it, and
Wasn't it good?
yeah, I love the whole Scream series. Like,
Yeah.
nothing beats one,
Right, I agree.
of course, but it was great. You know what? Not to pivot too much, but you know what recent horror movie I saw that I really liked was the I always want to say Talk to the Hand, but
Talk to me.
Talk to Me.
Loved it.
That was fantastic.
Love it. I think it gave me Get Out vibes, and that's how almost
that's
good
what
it
I was
is.
thinking, that slow
Yes.
burn, not super jump. It was like just really horrifying in a very slow and creepy way.
Did you guys see it? Because I don't want
I
to.
have not seen it yet,
Damn
but
it.
I know that Well, no, you can talk about it.
Well, I don't want to give away a spoiler.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah,
Jessica, with 10 minutes to go, remember the end?
Yeah.
I called it. I go, this is what's going to happen, and this is what's going to happen, and she's going to blank. And I was with my mom. She's like, no. I'm like, I'm telling you. Yeah.
It's like, I told you.
yeah.
Okay, now here's one for you. Everybody always talks about their favorite horror movie, or what is your least favorite?
Least?
Yes, one that you could do away with and be done. It could be part of. Most people nowadays will pick Halloween ends, saying that they didn't like that movie.
But can it be like a B shit movie, or you mean like a major?
No, it could be any.
Well, Jessica, you can go ahead. You want some time to think? I'll go.
Yeah, I was like, I got to think about this.
Well, probably one of the worst horror movies ever, but it's a really low budget, was Troll 2. You guys ever see that?
Never seen it.
Yes, it was
That
horrible.
was so. They're killing her. They're gonna kill me. I'm like, where'd they find this guy? In the subway?
I know mine.
Yeah,
I know mine too. I know
But
mine too.
As far as major ones, I have to go recent, right? Because I don't know about all the time. Would have to be. I gave the score on Halloween Ends. I went to the theater and I came out, and I was super fair. And I said, as a movie, if you took the movie and you can remove it, it's a 7.75. If you make it a Halloween movie, it's still better as a movie than Resurrection or other ones. It's like a 5. I said, but as a Michael, it's a 0. So it's a weird film but to end that trilogy that way with that kind of hero and see him die was the biggest slap. And to have a dork kid beat him up hand to hand, that had to be I don't know about the worst movie, but the biggest letdown.
I agree. I mean, I was let down by it, but all said and done with that one, they're gonna reboot the franchise somewhere down the line.
Yeah. But I wanted that story to be with her, and,
right?
Yeah. Whatever.
I think the worst horror movie that I've seen. I don't know why this one is coming to me. And it might not be the worst of all time, but it's just like the most recent in my head was this movie called Open House, I think is the name of it. It was like some random
okay. Yes.
horror movie. And like all I remember,
Wes Craven. I think it was Wes Craven.
I know,
right?
And I think it's because I was watching it with my sister, and when I'm watching it with my younger sister, we laugh at everything in a way that probably makes it less scary. But there's like a moment where a character gets like all of her fingers broken on the screen, and I was like laughing, and I don't know. It was a
so Jess, there's Open House 2010, and then there's the Open House 2018.
This let me check because I don't want to be cited on that one.
You can't see it.
I'm like, I don't have my glasses on right now.
A bunch of girls sitting around.
Okay, no. The Open House.
The Open House,
The
2018.
Open House. This was directed by Suzanne Coote and Matt Angel.
Okay.
It's a random movie. Okay, it's got a 13% on Rotten Tomatoes. Not that that's the end all be all, but
and a 3 on IMDb.
It was bad, and the finger cracking scene was humorous and also like awful at the same time.
The main dude is from a bunch of movies.
From 13 Reasons Why and like a lot of
he's from Let Me In, Don't Breathe, Prisoners. He's from a lot of stuff.
Wait, is that like the younger guy?
Yeah, Scream.
Yeah.
The Scream remake. He's in everything.
Yeah, his name was Wes. And in
Scream.
Yeah.
His name is Dylan.
Once you started naming off names, I knew exactly who you're talking about.
He's also a musician too. I think he has a band out in Los Angeles or something. But
now, these days, actors and actresses all seem to be singers too.
There's a pipeline. Wrestling to horror is the same as acting to music.
I have a rap album out. I think I played a song for Jessica once or something. Did I ever send you a song?
I don't think you ever did, but we've
Well,
talked.
be prepared. Be prepared. Yeah.
Dude, now I gotta go find it.
I'll send it
Is
to you.
it-
Well,
okay.
there's ones I can't send you because they're real bad. But there's ones I did like radio edits, no swearing, stuff like that. So we have one played on the radio locally here and stuff like that. But
Yeah, but you know me, I don't care about swearing.
it's not swearing, bro. It's things I did, and yeah, it's not good.
Oh,
It's evidence,
So for me, I would have to get rid of the Leprechaun movies.
Even the first one,
The first one wasn't so bad. That
right?
when he ended up in space,
And then the Hood.
the Hood, yeah,
Yeah.
it's I didn't like them.
mine. If I was to choose out of any franchise, it'd be Nightmare on Elm Street, but it would be the second part 2. I would do away with.
Over Freddy's
Yeah, I
Dead
wasn't.
and the remake.
Yeah. I went back and I started watching Nightmare on Elm Street just recently because I had not watched the original one since I was a kid because it scared me to.
It's a scary movie. Nobody goes back
Yeah.
and watches that one.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't watched it in almost 40 years or less than 40 years, but then I watched part 2 and I said I still don't care for it. I mean, I like it better than I did back then, but I just that one out of the whole series I would do away with.
Yeah. Remember when he came out of his buddy's body?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool scene. Even though that's weird. Like that 2 broke the rules, kind of. But dude,
Right.
Okay, you got to give me this though. Out of all the Freddy scenes ever, when he's at the pool party and he's sitting there with his arms out and the fire is shooting up under him, you're all my children now, bro. That's one of the best scenes in Nightmare on Elm Street ever. Yeah, that gets me excited. Sorry.
Yeah, I was.
I'm gonna start jumping up with fire and stuff. And the way he did it, like he was like a piano guy, like orchestra guy. It was just awesome. Yeah, he was in V. Remember?
Yes, I love that series,
dude. I went. Let me dork out. I went to the casino here in Connecticut. Kane Hodder was there. I was hanging out with Kane back when I was part of the Voorhees movie, the fan film Voorhees, and I was hanging out with Kane, and Robert was like after him, right? Dude, all of a sudden, I'm not joking, a ship from V. Remember it was that saucer thing and the door would open up in the front? Dude, these people made one. And I don't know how they got it in there. And they rolled it down. Everyone had to move out of the way. And they moved it down the thing. And the thing opened. And all of them came out in the suits and everything and took a picture with Robert and everything.
That's crazy.
That would have been
unbelievable. V's awesome. Before your time, Jessica, but it was a pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know V.
Well, it actually they did.
Well, it's nowhere near as good as the original.
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked the remake too, but it wasn't. Yeah, you're right. It was nowhere near.
So
when did the original come out?
80s, early 80s.
Yeah, early 80s.
Right up my alley. I should probably watch it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the thing was, it was like must-see TV for the world. Like the whole America would watch it. It was a big kind of phenomenon where it was saying that everybody that controls the country are actually these lizard alien people, and they couldn't prove it. They'd rip their skin off like on live TV, and it was this big battle. It was great.
Well, back then, miniseries were the rage. Everybody was doing them, but that was one of the best ones I think that they had out there.
Well, I try to explain to younger people, and you guys will know this. It's not like, and there's nothing against it today, but there's so many things to watch today. And there's so many channels, so many YouTube, so much stuff. Back in the day, you had the regular channels and HBO. So all of us saw E.T., Jaws, Goonies, the Gremlins. We all knew the lines. We all knew the words to it. We all went to school dressed as it, and we all talked about it. There was no other options. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So those movies had such cultural impact that other movies just can't have today. Like I've never seen Game of Thrones, but there's so many people that have. So it's hard to achieve that today.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
You haven't watched Game of Thrones?
Dude, I never watched Entourage, and my life was Entourage.
Well, I watched the Entourage movie, but other than that, but Game of Thrones, I mean, the first few seasons.
I also have not seen Game of Thrones. I feel like I've never seen anyone who's not seen Game of Thrones.
Have you seen Entourage, Jess?
And I have not seen Entourage.
And I haven't seen what's the one where the guy makes crystal meth?
Oh, Breaking Bad.
Oh,
I haven't seen.
I haven't seen that either.
Okay, my people.
I
Yeah.
sat down and binge watched that.
I'm gonna have to. But I've seen Lost was one of my favorite shows. Sopranos.
Hold on. Yes, Brian's chiming in, and I forgot. Sorry, Brian, you are right. The last Jeepers Creepers would be
I didn't
one.
see it.
Wouldn't. Oh, it was terrible. I like the first Jeepers Creepers. The second one wasn't as bad, but afterwards
was
it got
bad.
worse.
I heard 4 the CGI is so bad it's comical.
It is, and it's nothing. I mean, they're not using anything from the other ones, but the first one was done here, where I live, on one of the roads. It was a really long ass road, but it was done here in Florida.
It's actually, I recently learned this, and you probably all already know this, but it's that the first scene where they're on that road is based off of a true story from Unsolved Mysteries. And they, use that. And I was just like, that is crazy. But I think that was terrifying. I think that whole like intro thing, that for me as a female, that's my worst fear.
I think Jeepers Creepers was really good. The second one, well, and it starts going way downhill after that.
I get scared to watch the second of anything, to be honest.
I like the second one. It was different. It was more action packed and more like that, but it wasn't as story driven except for the dad and the son coming back after him. Mm-hmm. But dude, the real problem is it came out after the second one that the director is a convicted child rapist. Yeah. So he went to jail and everything. So you get two sides of the fence of, well, he served his time, and then the people are like, well, it's an unforgivable offense, So after that, he could never get the money or the following. So I'm not saying blaming him or whatever, but they just went to shit. So it sucked because I love the character.
Oh yes, it would be great if Jonathan Bracken, Bracken,
the original guy jumped out too after that. That's the problem.
And he was great.
He was great. I met him.
Yes, I have too. I just wasn't able to get his autograph at that time, but I did meet him.
Hey, you have Peter Anthony's autograph, and that's all you need.
No, I'm still waiting for you to come to one of the, the conventions around here.
You got to leave Florida, man.
I'm trying to leave Florida.
All right.
I'm trying to actually move.
I go to like 5 of them. I just don't go to Florida.
Well, you
see me all the time. You see me, Adam, all the time. I'm going to be in Boston. I'm in Boston in 2 weeks. I'm going to see Terry, Jessica.
Wait, when are you in Boston?
I'm
in Boston.
When are you in Boston?
I'm there 3rd through the 8th.
I think. What is the 8th? A Sunday? A Friday?
Let me see. I'm like, I have no idea.
Friday.
Yeah, I go Friday, I think, or Saturday.
You're going. I'm leaving.
Way to go, Jess. Way to go.
Poor planning.
Poor planning.
What's the name of that? Unbelievable. Sorry, my brain's gone. Anyways, tons of people are going to be there. Everybody in costume. Michaels are in costume. Some Jasons that were never in costume will be in costume. I went there last year as their initial year. I don't follow heavy metal. Ice Nine Kills. They're a big band. They host it.
Yeah, I was trying to get you in. Down here at the Spookilla convention. It's really cool though. They're getting bigger and bigger every year. So hopefully,
Silver Screen Con.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's Ice Nine Kills, right?
Yes.
Yep.
I guess my buddy just went to Metallica, and he said Ice Nine Kills was part of Metallica. And before Metallica went live was Five Finger Death Punch.
Yep.
Yeah, they're all going around in a tour together. Yeah. I had a friend just went to Texas just to see them.
They're all great. They're all great live.
So hold on. Silver Scream has Tony Todd in costume, Candyman. Sorry, Skeet Ulrich, Joe Bob Briggs, Diana the girl who I was in Vengeance 2, Diana the male girl, Diana Prince, right? Adam Green, Chris Jericho, Tom Savini, Tom Atkins, CJ Graham in outfit, Don Shanks in outfit, Part 5 Halloween. Tom Morgan in outfit, Jason Part 5. Dick Warlock, Halloween 2 in outfit. Terry, guys, look at him, Jess.
Oh my so good.
Just tons of people. Alex Vincent, everybody. All the guys from what's that Christmas movie?
Oh, Silent Night, Deadly Night.
1 and 2, both guys are there. Yeah. And my girlfriend, who I've never met, even though she doesn't know we're girlfriends, Julia Ronson from Friday the 13th Part 4. She's 60.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
Who's a good girl? Who's a good girl? Sorry.
Well, he just made this. He just made my reel right there.
There's your reel. Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
even care if she knows. She like wears no makeup, just has straight black hair. Just I love stuff like that.
Brian, just remember that name, okay?
So, Jess, have you seen Friday the 13th Part 4?
I have not seen. I've actually not seen all of the Friday the 13th, which is I feel like a sin at this point.
Yeah.
But
She gets undressed in the movie, which is notable, obviously, as a young child. And then she's in a very famous raft scene where she gets killed, and that's where she'd be taking a picture in the raft because it's a famous scene. And it's also famous because Ted White, who just died as Jason Part 4, told the directors a big thing: if you don't get her out of the water because she had hypothermia, I'm leaving the film. And they took her out, basically saved her life because
Oh wow.
I think I've seen that scene that you're talking about,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Just that specific one, but that's crazy. Like when
Yeah.
you learn about people that have almost gotten killed doing what they're doing on set.
Yeah. And you know that. Think about her, like she's a first-time actor. She's in a big film. She doesn't want to say no, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's another movie. Oh, God, I have to look it up. Hold on.
Yeah, didn't they normally fill them during the winter time anyways? Most
It
of
all
the Friday
depends where they
13th?
were. Yeah. I mean, Halloween was in the summer.
This is not a horror movie, but if you've ever seen Natural Born Killers,
Yes.
this is a great film. Juliette Lewis, her character, she was actually sick with like life-threatening pneumonia the last, I think it was a couple weeks that they filmed, or 3 weeks that they filmed. And they were just like, I mean, we can stop production, but like this and that. And she's like, let's just film through it. And she was saying that she probably almost died from doing that because like pneumonia can be super serious if you're just like up and around and whatever. And I don't think she knew how bad it was until afterward, but it's like,
Well, one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, it's a great
favorite
film.
movies ever. Yeah. I know it because I have some experience. The shoulder in Fall of Camp Blood. I tore 4 tendons off the shoulder in Fall of Camp Blood, and I did 30 more takes of a fight scene. Just now with the Horrorverse, my fake knee dislocated and broke and got stuck backwards, pointing in the air. I shot for 4 more. They moved me to a table to hide my knee, and we shot for 4 more. They would pick me up, bring me to the bathroom, pick me up, bring me back, give me a drink, put me in the car. I drove an hour and a half back. Sean and Cody, Jessica picked me up out of the car, brought me into the room. I put my knee on a bench, and it was stuck. And then after about 2 hours, it popped. I passed out. The morning Sean brought me, you probably saw pictures to the hospital. They drew all the blood. So I get it. Like you don't ever want to be the person that ruins the whole film.
Yeah.
You know.
How long ago did you have your hip replaced, or not your hip, your knee?
So my knee, the replacement was like the 3rd only in the world. A guy came from Europe and a guy from Boston, because you only can get 2 in your life. But this one was super special. They actually gave me all my tendons, or somebody else's tendons, all back. Wow. And they did it. And it was only supposed to last 7 years. It's been 12 years. Nice. And then in that movie, I picked the guy up over my head, trying to act like an idiot. And it like kind of went out. And then by the next day, it went all the way up.
Yeah, they told me that about my hip, that, I got it replaced when I was 30. And, they said that probably in about 20 years, you're going to have to get it replaced again. I'm like, yeah, this thing's going to last me a lot longer than 20 years. I mean, I'm not going through that again, but I'm going to have to eventually for my other hip.
How did you hurt your hip that young?
I have avascular necrosis in my hips and my shoulders and in my knees.
You don't get blood flow to the end.
Right. See, they originally told me that it started with drinking. Of course, the doctors are going to tell me that.
Dude, I didn't want to say anything about your personal life, but 90% of people who are alcoholics get their hips replaced. Did you know that, Jess?
Wow, I had no idea.
Yes, it does something to them. Yeah.
So
I got mine done at the age of 30, and I'm going on 46 now.
Yeah, my buddy was 30 and had his hips replaced, but he was an alcoholic. He'd go to work, but he was a functioning alcoholic. And I guess something with the alcohol, the extremities of the extremities of your veins, and it doesn't get the blood to your hip and your shoulders, and they mess up.
What it does is everything expands when you've been drinking, and then when you're it's out of your system, it goes back down.
Dehydrate.
Right, yeah. And when you drink, it stays this way, and well, that's the reason why it doesn't flow. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't like that. Yeah. So, like you've read on Facebook that I was on morphine for 16 years, and I just recently. Oh, you didn't read it? You didn't?
No.
Yeah, I read I put a post up, but I stopped my morphine or my pain management about a week ago.
Oh man,
And-
good for you.
And I'm in no pain right now. Well, minus
Oh.
the other stuff that I have problems, but where they
Right.
screwed my knee up or my leg up in the first place, I have no pain. So I've been excited. My wife's enjoying all the energy I have right now.
Yeah.
You don't get addicted to pain pills because it takes away the pain. You get addicted to the pain pills for the joy it gives you.
Well, I
Yeah.
wasn't necessarily addicted to it. I thought, well, yes and no. I thought I needed it for the pain because
Right.
I was
Right.
still in pain. Well, the way my doctor said it is sometimes pain meds can make pain worse.
Mm.
And well, when I ended that, this is the first time my doctor actually congratulated somebody for leaving. And I'm like, he says, if I ever need them again, just give them a call. I said, well, I'm trying not to.
Right. You should never say that.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
Yeah.
I gave my daughter, when I was trying to stop, I gave my daughter my pills and told her to hide them because either that or I was going to, and I was going to flush them. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. But then I stopped. I said, go hide these. I said, just in case I need them later on. And it's been a while and I don't want them.
Yeah. So, I've had 39 major surgeries and I'm in pain all the time. Sometimes I'll throw up. Sometimes I'll pass out. Like it's just horrible all the time. Legally handicapped, whatever. But Jess, you remember the premiere? There was a big tall guy at the end before Bryson.
Yeah.
So that's I had 5 best friends when I grew up. All 5 have died in the last 6 years from ODing off of pills. So like every time I would get a surgery, I would take the pills for 3 days because you can't sleep really when you have a major, and then I would just throw them out because I always say to myself, no one ever thought when they took pills that they were ever going to get addicted. So
Right.
as you're sitting there, I'm strong-minded, I'm the best. Well, that's what everybody thought. Nobody thought they were ever it was going to happen. But so if you take away the odds, then it won't happen. So I flush them, just like you. And then because the next day I get mad at myself, like, oh, I wish I had one more, but it's still the right move because one more is one more day.
One more.
That's the
keep
whole
going.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one more always goes into one more.
Right. And why am I different than every other stat? I'm not. I like to think I am, but in reality, I'm not.
That's one of the reasons why I keep the 988 up there a lot. Is that's a world, United States wide number. You can dial 988 in case you need help with suicide or if you're depressed and you need help. So I love that. I'm a big advocate for suicide awareness.
Yeah.
Because my father, I've said this before. My father killed himself when I was 13, and ever since then, I've been wanting to make sure that if I can, I want to make sure that nobody else does.
Yeah.
It's funny. Like I get down too, and I have tons of fans. I won't say names, but they'll hit me up that are in that level, right? And they're like, "I just need to talk to you," and I don't even know them. And I'm like, "Okay, let's go." And I'm like, "You got an hour? I'm smoking a cigar. Let's go." And we'll talk for an hour. And I don't even know the guy, but he's like, "I just need to talk to somebody." And I get it. Sometimes just talking to somebody just gets you through that day. So I try to always do it if I can.
As long as you show people that they matter, it can change their minds. And I've talked a few out of suicide.
That's really what it is your self-confidence, your self-worth. That's really what it is. You feel like you're not worth anything,
Yeah, and just reminding people that they're not alone, I think, is also a big part of it too. Just maybe not even having the words to say, but just being there for them and with them as another human to human connection is really powerful.
It is.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest part is when you get to that point, or when somebody gets to the point that they feel like there's nobody else that understands. Just being able to have somebody say, "I do understand," is key.
I think Jessica hit on it too. There's I studying like vibrations, right? Like you ever watch vibrations with you use certain frequencies, certain water turns into certain shapes. Bees' wings can make that hexagonal shape, which honey, and it wards off infection. Just weird stuff with vibrations. So I for some reason, like I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, I was getting these panic attacks. But I'm like, oh, dude, I'm a macho fighter, football guy. I don't have panic attacks, So I'm just sitting there, but I could never take a deep breath, and it would get worse and worse and worse each breath. And I'd call my boy, and I'd be like, bro, the one that passed away, Jess. I'd be like, I don't know what to tell you. You need to come here, And he's like, okay. And he would come, and he'd just sit down. I'm like, just sit and talk about something we did in football. And after like 10 minutes, my breathing would get back and whatever. But if he wasn't there, it wouldn't have happened. I don't know where it came from.
Kept going.
Yeah,
You
I would
kept
be
going
happy.
in your
It
head.
it wouldn't even be like I was sad. I'd be like singing a song, and then I'd be like, and I just couldn't breathe. It was just so much stress. I think when I was making the movies and stuff.
And I think it's like grounding yourself back into reality. And it's like if your mind just keeps going, and then it's like all of a sudden you're over here, and then just something that can bring you back to reality and like telling stories or talking about whatever. It's like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But it's hard to
Yeah.
see that when you're in it.
Yeah.
See, that's why I have Brian. He keeps me grounded along with my wife. You like that one? Keeps me grounded there. But you know, I met him when I was in 7th grade, and we went through hell and back. And our wives, you know, love each other, and you know, it's wonderful. Once he moved back to Florida, we all, you know, I grew up with his family, and you know, that's what I liked about him. And it's great that, you know, Brian's always around, and it's one of those things. And Jessica, I wish you could have met him today, but you know, you got Robert, so you got somebody better someday right now.
Somebody better.
Yeah, just wait. I'm waiting for him to message something in there. But it was the one question I had is you knew that when you were playing Tina, that Lawrence Park, Lincoln played her first. Did you have any reputations or, you know, any hesitation on playing her?
I mean, yeah, it was so intimidating, like coming into my first role and having to, like, I couldn't just play the role the way that I thought about it. It's like the precedent and the character had already been set and put into motion. So I really had to study a lot of what she did, and just talking to her on the phone, really picking her brain was really helpful. And, you know, there's no way to be 100% someone else, but to kind of take these things that she already did so well with the character and try to bring those back as much as possible was my goal with playing this reprised character of Tina Shepherd. But very intimidating and also fun at the same time. I always grew up and this is very casual, but I was an imitator growing up. My family, we would get together and they would say, Jessica, imitate this person. And I still do to this day, like just very mild imitations, but it felt like the most advanced version of that kind of imitation game a little bit. And so it was fun. It was fun to see if I could remotely pick up on these things from the character. And yeah.
Hold on. First of all, I still impersonate people all the time. I'm like known for it. It's funny you say that. Like the voice, everything. So
yeah.
Here today, can you impersonate Peter Anthony at all for the live crowd?
I won't do it. I won't.
Bro, be an asshole. I don't care. This is funny. This is great TV.
Yeah, wait a minute. You have
hold on. She was gone.
Okay.
I'm too shy right now.
It's
too.
Hold on, wait a minute.
If I bring this up, they're gonna make me do it, and I can't. It's only my family.
Right. How about we role play and you play me and I'll be somebody else. So you're me on set.
Play me. You're the imitator. You're gonna go.
No, I can't be a girl. Look at me.
See, I can't be a macho guy.
But what if you play Peter and I'm like somebody on set and I ask you a question? Would that like help you roll into it?
This is too. I don't know. Another time.
I never see her flustered like this. This is funny.
I'm blushing. I'm just.
Yeah, I know. She's all.
It's all for fun.
All right, we'll drop it. People never do me. I want to see me.
I know. Maybe when I get brave enough, I'll make a video or something, and then we can.
Yeah, like 2 a.m. I'm ready.
She's gonna call you at 2 o'clock in the morning.
You're not like super like. It's easier to do somebody that's really animated, and I'm really animated. So like it's easy to do Strang, right? It's not easy to do other. Well, Jason Brooks kind of. I do him all the time, but
right.
Have you guys seen
my? Though, because you have to have.
I've not.
As like a discerning thing.
Yeah, where he's moving or the hands or something that you can copy.
Yeah, like I had this guidance counselor growing up, and she would laugh and she'd go, and so like I would come home from school and imitate her doing that. And then I remember going to parent-teacher conferences, and my dad is also an imitator, and he just loved that I would do that growing up. And my dad, in his infinite wisdom, went up to the guidance counselor at parent-teacher conferences and was like, "My daughter does a wonderful impression."
Oh no!
I was like,
yeah.
And he asked me to do it. I was like, Dad, no, this is
Yeah.
not happening. But she had the discerning feature. She had to laugh.
Yeah.
I can't jump on a trampoline. I'll probably pop my hip out.
But like, there's a guy on set, MP Strang, who Jessica knows is very like outgoing and stuff. So
Yeah.
he's easy to do because he's just crazy all the time. So, you wanted me to do Jason Brooks, Mark?
Yes.
Okay. Hold on. Jessica, like, can you interact with me? Can you be me? Can you try to be frantic, exciting me telling the story? You're both playing this part.
Okay, so you're gonna come in through the door, and I want you to no, come in. Much stronger. We need turn your head, and then like that. Like, oh.
Yeah, that's so awesome, bro. I'm so excited about that. I can't wait. I can't wait to do it. Can you tell I'm so excited?
That's Jason.
Scene.
Yeah, we're like total opposites, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm like, bro, you're on fire.
Yeah, I'll get that later, dude.
No, you're on fire right now. I think that's how he conserves energy, where I like waste energy.
Well, when he was first sitting there on set, and I didn't know who anyone was on set. I was just like, there had been a Zoom meeting with all of us, and I'm like, I don't know who's who. And I just see him sitting there. I'm like, who is this guy? Like, just thinking he's so chill. I was like, maybe he's helping like with costumes or makeup or something.
He's doing everything.
Just like, so like, how's it going? And then all of a sudden he like comes out in the full Jason suit, and I'm like, okay, you are a totally different person right now.
Yeah. And he becomes like aggressive.
Yeah. And
yeah. And he's like so non-aggressive person.
He needs his energy.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be slow.
Yeah, me and CJ Graham make fun of him all the time because I used to bodybuild, and he makes fun of me because he calls me, I'm not short, I'm 5'11", but he's like 6'5", so he calls me shorty, and I call him baby arms because he got little arms. And then he went to CJ's house to interview him, and he had some tattoos on his arm, and CJ started making fun of him. He's like, you have tattoos because your arm isn't big. And so we always got this like macho thing going on back and forth, which I probably started.
Oh, I could just imagine what he'd say about my arms. I mean, they're really small, but
hey, man, I had fake tattoos. Jess, you probably saw it for the movie.
That's right.
Yeah, I felt badass.
Well,
so
I have small arms too, so
you don't have any tats. You're like me, Jess. You don't have any tats, right?
I have no tattoos.
Same here. You don't pinstripe a Ferrari, baby.
That's right. These are nature's tattoos, all right?
Yeah, there you go.
Well, we've had you on here for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Actually, longer than what I thought.
I got to eat dinner soon.
Yeah. I did that before I came on here.
I should have.
I got to finish packing.
Yes, you do have something that you got to go this weekend, don't you?
Yeah, my flight leaves at 4 in the morning.
Oh,
or I have to leave for the airport at 4. So.
Damn. Before we let you go, Jessica, where can people find you?
Yes. People can't find me. No. You can find me on I'm less on Facebook these days. I'm actually like generally not, but although I do have a Facebook, Jessica Hottman, Hottman. My name's on the screen. But mainly on Instagram. That's where I try to post a lot of my projects I'm working on and content and random photos. So my handle is @JHottman. And then for the music side, that's most closely related to the horror films. For the band that I'm in, it's Giveth, Giveth, and our Instagram handle is @GivethSounds. So we can stay in touch with the music there, and that's pretty much the gist of it.
Once I'm done here, I'm gonna go find that and add that to my list.
Me and Jessica also share something. Our second toe is longer than our first toe. She took a beach picture once. I'm like, hey, get the same toe as me.
That's long second toe. Yeah. I was always told that means you have royalty in your blood. So
really,
I don't know if he was trying to make me feel good or what.
You never saw Jessica because we're just walking around. But I have the biggest feet and toes you've ever seen in the world. I have size 13 feet at my height. Yeah, and my toes are like that long. So it's just funny. Yeah.
I've got big feet too. Like my feet were the first thing to grow before I grew into them.
Same in 6th grade, I had size 11 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah. So my doctor told me, my mom smoked the whole time she was pregnant.
What?
So my arm is super long. It's as long as Jason Brooks's, and my feet are super long. And then like somewhere in the middle, I just didn't grow. So I always blame my mom. I'm like, I know you stunted my growth when you smoked. How could you smoke? And she's like, we didn't know. I'm like, how could you not know? Did you just run into fires and think it's okay? You know, it's that whole battle.
Well, see, I can say I was stunted by growth. I don't think you can say that as much. I'm only 5'4", and you know, that's it.
Height is but a number.
Correct.
I was always the shortest growing up, and then I got really tall because my dad is 6'4". So I always think of myself as being short, and then I'm like, I'm not short. I'm 5'8". For women, that's taller. You know, not like crazy tall, but taller. But
You put on heels. You're 6'1", 6 foot.
I know, but my younger sister, she's 5'11", and my older sister is 5'8".
She's taller. The older, taller.
So I always feel short. You know, it's all relative.
Is your mom tall?
My mom is 5'7".
Bridget
Hottman, 5'7".
Bridget. Jessica's #1 fan.
That's right. My parents are the best.
My mom is 4'11", and my dad's 5. You met them, 5'4".
That's right. Yeah.
Yep.
You could have been 5 feet tall. So
yeah, could have been. My brother's 5'6".
My son towers over me.
Yeah.
My daughters are shorter, but my son got the height. I'm like, you sure he's mine? But I can't deny him. He looks like me.
Yeah.
But all right, we're gonna wrap this up. I want to thank both of you for coming on. Peter, I will see you after you're done with Laughed.
Yep.
I'm gonna have you on the show, and hopefully we'll have you back on, and after you get some more of yours, whatever you want, or whatever you want, whatever you do. I can't wait to see what you do in the future.
Thank you.
I think it'll be really good. You know, everybody from Roseblood, Vengeance, you guys have all seemed to be a close family, because you guys stick together in films too, in some ways. Mm-hmm. Especially you and Jason Brooks here lately. You guys seem to be.
Well, when you find people that you work well with. I mean, me, Jason, Sean, Cody, Jessica, Brent. You know, like just people who are good and work hard. You know, Sanaya.
Yes.
Yeah.
It makes a difference.
Totally.
And you know what you get. And I'm not easy to get along with. So these people accept me. Yeah. So
you don't have to fire. You don't have to fire 5 people within a week of starting. Yeah.
Yeah. Tommy Lee Driver got fired 5 days. How much dialogue did he have, Jessica? Just in that one scene with the fast team alone?
A lot. And
a lot.
I think he just had it all ready to roll.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Even Jessica, 5 weeks?
It was actually like 2 weeks and some change.
Oh, 2 weeks and some change. So long story short, you want real quick, sorry to waste time. The girl that I had playing lived in Europe. Yeah. And she was on the IMDb. I knew her because she did a film with Jason Brooks and Jeremy Brown. And I'm like, hey, you're going to be on the IMDb. This is the role. This is what's going. She had the script and everything.
Yeah.
And then 3 weeks before or whatever. No, that's what it was. It was 5 weeks before, but it took a while to find you and get you. And she's like, oh, yeah, by the way, I never got married to the guy in the United States, so I can't come. I'm like, what? Yeah. And she's like, yeah, but when were you going to tell me this? So I was about to get her flight.
Kind of big information to know.
Yeah. So then we had a huge thing on what the hell site was that, Jessica?
It was on Backstage. I was telling that story when I first got on.
Okay, and then there's 160 submissions, and I picked
the middle of, I think, February or something like that.
Yeah, and we shot in March.
Yeah, we shot the beginning
first week of March 8th and 9th. We started.
All right.
Yeah,
let's do this.
Yeah, she had me at eyeball. Well, yeah. Because I knew you have to.
Hey,
I was saying, I said it 1,000 times, but Lar Park Lincoln has 5 lines in that movie. It's all about her with her eyes and acting. And Jessica, the camera was right here, and she was like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "There it is, right there."
Eyeballs.
Yeah.
All right. Oh crap. Oop, wrong thing. Hit the wrong thing. Okay. I hit the wrong thing. All right. Well, I want to thank you again for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.
No problem. I will have you back on in the future. I want you to meet Brian, but I also want you to, I want people to keep knowing who you are. I know you're going to do some great things. So it's going to be fun. see what happens. I know Peter's going to be great at whatever he does. It seems like
Soon Jessica will be so big she won't talk to me anymore. Just Peter again. Jesus.
This Peter.
Pizza.
Suddenly I'll have an accent. No.
I do my English accent with my niece. She loves it, even though it's terrible. Yeah.
That's the best kind of accent to have. Just a really bad one.
Yeah.
Really inaccurate.
I'm going to end the show with you guys on here. Normally I cut you guys off and then, end it. But next week, I'm going to have finally have her on my show. She was supposed to be on a few weeks back. Her name's Beatrice.
Beatrice. Biopo.
Yep. Yeah. I'll get it down before it's over with.
Yep.
Before next Thursday. But I can't wait to have her on the show. She was supposed to be on, but she overlooked it and forgot type thing.
She's Freddie's mom, Jessica, in
Yes.
one of the Nightmare stories.
Yeah.
Cool. Wow.
Yeah. I actually went back and watched that movie the day of the show, but I ended up talking to Brian most of the day or most of the time.
It happens.
Yeah. But like I said, I enjoyed having you guys on.
Same here.
And Robert,
It's nice meeting you.
Yeah.
Robert,
Yes.
I appreciate you helping me. Brian said he appreciates it. And you'll be back on my show, or you'll be back here on September 14th with Deep Dark Secrets.
Yep.
And we'll figure out what we're going to talk about then. I'm going to bet a bunch of cases that you guys are working on,
Probably.
which I can't wait to see where this one leads up to. I know the outcome already,
Yep.
but other than that, I can't wait to see what happens next. And keep giving us keep ending it on a cliffhanger for me.
I'm going to do my best.
He does that very well. Well, from me and Robert, I'd like to say good night.
Good night, guys.
Thanks.
Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back?